The most valuable model that I would share with your group, I learned as a parent, because we sent all three of our kids early on to the Montessori school system. And I didn't learn this per se from the school, but as we were doing our research, I came across this concept called the Montessori learning spiral. Have you heard of this at all, Josh?
I have not.
Okay, so picture if I had a diagram, it would look like a spiral that keeps coming back. It's a spiral that goes north, but keeps going like this. And every spiral is kind of a learning cycle, right? And what she did, she studied all sorts of learning, and she learned how we learn. And once she was able to understand how humans learn, in fact, it's true across all mammals, but we'll take a human because that's who we are. So the idea is, man, if we can put some structure to how we learn by being more consciously competent of that, maybe we can accelerate. So maybe we can help a business get someplace in 2 years that they would have gotten in 10 years or 15 years. I understand that's the concept. And here are the steps. And for those of you listening to the podcast, this is a great place to take notes, because the steps totally unleash the idea of effective action, because it changes the paradigm. The paradigm used to be, come up with an idea, do lots and lots of research before you take action, and when you feel it's safe, you take action. In reality, the game's over by the time you do that, and somebody else has done it. So then we got to think, well, how do we really learn and grow? And here are the steps. I think it's 5. So step 1 is, as a business owner, for example, and I'll apply this to your business, you come up with a hypothesis, something that says, I believe that if I do this, this will happen. That's step 1. That's kind of right here on the spiral. Here's step 2, and it'll surprise you. Step 2 is to take action. It is the most important thing to do. It's not learn, it's not, it's to go from hypothesis to action. Then you take action, and then you say, what happened? And then after you say what happened, you say, why did it happen? And then after you say, why did it happen? You say, what did I learn? And then you come up with a new hypothesis. And so I'll give you an example of that. So back in Rhode Island, when we raised the boys there, one of my sons was fascinated with the spotlight in front of the house. And he was just fascinated. His hypothesis was, it would be really cool to touch this light, right? Because it looked cool, like this bright light, right? So he goes and he, of course, hypothesis, action, because he's a human and he wanted to learn. So he goes and he touches the light. That's his action. What happened? He burned his hand. Not bad, not awful. The perfect amount, actually, just enough so that he wouldn't do it again. So what happened? He got burned. Why did it happen? Because it was hot. What did he learn? Don't touch the light. New hypothesis. Look at it, be fascinated by it, but don't touch that thing, right? And you think about, and the number one place, if you look at studies show, at what step of the process do people fail in this curve? And you might be surprised, the place where people fail is between hypothesis and action. So that gets to that quote as well. So I thought I'd share that with your audience.
Oh man, there's so much to unpack in that little piece right there. There's so much there. One thing that I thought was, what you're saying about, it's great to learn about something, but the more you learn about it, it's probably too late to take action because somebody else has already done it. And so my thought process is exactly that. Listen, the more information that's out there, that means more people have already tried it. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to be the first one to do it. So if there's enough research out there for you to feel safe and comfortable to do it, then there's a ton of people that have already done it. Because you're not the first person to read the article. Clearly, you're not the first person to write an article. So, it's been widely used. You're not the first person to come up with it, so you're not going to revolutionize anything by doing it. Now, if you're learning from what they learned and then changing it in a way to make it more effective or make it fit your business, maybe it's only ever been used in logistics and now you're trying to put it into apparel or whatever it may be, right? Then that makes sense. Yes. Right. But again, I think that your spiral, it's great. Or it's not your spiral, but what you bring up with the spiral is 100% correct. You have a hypothesis, you try it out. Then you reflect on what you tried out to make it more effective going forward. Or you scrap it and you come up with a new hypothesis. So, oh man, I'm going to cold call these people. Let me try it. Cold call them. Wow, I didn't get anything. Or, wow, I got a lot. You know, but if you just sit there and research, the only thing you can do is paralyze yourself more, because you're going to read that you should be getting 20 appointments out of every 100 calls. You should have 10, however many people pick up out of such and such number of calls, whatever the statistics are. You're going to have those statistics in your head of, okay, this is how many people I got to call. This is this. And then if that doesn't happen, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. And then you're going to stop yourself before you ever even fully tested the hypothesis.